Hi, I am Dr. Danielle Reardon, and I am the 2021 Greater St. Louis Dental Society President. As a new volunteer, you may not be familiar with the terminology that is used during council, committee, and board meetings. I'm here today to kind of give you a quick little overview on different procedures and some of this terminology that will be used routinely during our meetings. There is also a parliamentary cheat sheet that will accompany this video, so please refer to that for any additional information. So whether you are sitting on a council, a committee, or are new to our board, most meetings will run pretty much the same. We'll very much use the same procedures during these meetings. Each meeting will be called to order by the chair of the council, committee, or board. And then there will be an agenda that is distributed ahead of time that we will be working through line item by line item. Committee members may choose during these agenda items to make motions within the group, which should be kind of bringing about some kind of a change. In order to make a motion, a committee member would raise their hand and be recognized by the chair, and then that member will say, "I make a motion." Let's say for an example, we would say, "I make a motion that we develop a committee to look into vaccine access," or that I move that we approve the budget as presented. During this time, the chair would then look for another member to second this motion. A second would be done again through the chair, and this would be from a member who agrees with the motion that is on hand. So they're in agreement that this is something that is good, that would want to be done. Once the motion has been made and seconded, the chair will open up the item for discussion amongst the group. During this time, members can talk whether they are in favor of a particular motion or against it. They can give further insight and information on topics that are given. Once discussion has concluded, the chair will then call for a vote on the action item, the motion that is at hand. During this time, they will say either all those in favor raise your hand, or all those in favor say aye, and then any opposed to do the same thing. They will then take a consensus of that vote, and the motion will either pass or it will fail. Then they will continue to move along through the agenda. That's kind of a very quick and dirty overview of how things kind of go about during a meeting. And there's a lot of other things that could potentially happen during that time as well. Some of those things might be that someone may choose to make an amendment to a motion. If that is done, they're going to again raise their hand, go through the chair, as all discussions should, and they're going to say, we'll go back to our original motion, say, "I make a motion that we explore access to the vaccine for not only our members, but for our members' staff." So by adding the word staff to that initial motion, that is what is called an amendment. So the amendment would then be the action item that is on the floor. So that would be the item that the group is going to discuss and vote on first. If the amendment does end up going through that process and passing, then the motion in general would then also have to be approved. If the amendment fails, then discussion continues back on the original motion. Another item that can happen is that a member can choose to do what's called table an item. If it is evident that there's not enough information, or that discussion is just not kind of getting to where the end task would be, sometimes there's more investigation that needs to be done. If a member makes a motion to table an item and that passes, what happens is that goes back either sometimes through the central office team, and they will investigate, bring more information so we can talk about it at the next meeting. Or sometimes there are even committees that may be formed to investigate particular issues or concerns for the membership. Either way, information is then brought back to the next meeting on the agenda, and the same topic is brought back up and voted on or discussed again. Another thing that can happen is a member could do what's called call the question. If someone makes a motion to call the question, what that means is that they're noticing that discussion is kind of just dragging on, and there's a lot of debate, and there's not any new insight that is being brought up within the room. So calling the question is to vote to decide if we're going to vote immediately on the original motion. when you call the question, that does need a second, and it also needs to pass with a majority, so a 2/3 majority vote. If it does pass, if the calling question passes, then the motion is voted on immediately. If it fails, then discussion can continue. If you have, these are kind of the biggest things really that happen procedurally during meetings, but if you have any other questions or something comes up, certainly don't hesitate to ask. If it's during the meeting, if it's outside of the meeting, something happened and maybe you didn't want to ask it during the meeting, certainly pull one of your leaders aside. Central office team, we are always happy to help, but rest assured, if it's happening during the meeting, just ask. There's probably someone else in the room that has the same question. There is no silly question, and we've all been in your shoes. Everyone was a new volunteer once, and I want everyone to feel comfortable and confident in that room, and I'm happy to answer any questions to make sure that that is in fact how you feel. We want you to be part of the team. We are who we are because we have members like you who are willing to step up and make sure that the profession is the best that we can have it be. So we are so thankful, and I just couldn't tell you enough how happy I am that you have agreed to take on this role. So welcome, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Have a great day.